Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Michigan Prep Frenzy podcast. This week, Tyler and I are going to be going over our Week 3 games. I'm Braden at MI Game Day.
And I'm Tyler at MICH Frenzy over on Twitter, and then at Prep Red Zone as well.
All right, we are going to jump right into this. We're going to start with our game of the week. Tyler, tell the fine people where we are going.
Yeah, we're heading down to Fowlerville. They're gonna host St. John's. Kind of two teams that have been kind of up and coming. They've had some down years, but have both started off 2-0 this season. So going into it blind, don't know a ton about these teams. St. John's was able to start off 2-0 with a win over Hamilton 22-14, and then they beat Ionia 49-16, which is a little more convincing.
Yeah,
And then
definitely a
Fowl
great win.
Yeah, very good win. And then Fowlerville, able to beat Corona in week 1, 40-14. And then they traveled to Marshall and beat them 34-30. So two teams that seem to be solid, but don't know a
Yeah.
ton about them.
And correct me if I'm wrong, these are two teams that you have never actually seen play before.
I've never seen either of these teams live. I think I saw St. John's at a 7-on-7 a couple of years ago, but I don't even think I've really seen much from either of these teams. So excited
Yeah.
to see what happens.
Tough to find a game with two teams you haven't seen before, but
Yeah.
this should be a fun one. These, like you said, they're two up and coming teams, two teams that we're kind of going in blind on. We see the results, we've seen the scoreboards. We both caught highlights here and there, but really coming in here without any preconceptions on these teams. Really excited to see, who jumps out for us out on the field.
Yeah, and it's kind of a weird week, and we'll kind of get into like our ranked matchups and stuff like that, but nothing like stuck out to me as like gotta be there or anything like that. There's a couple of good games that I definitely wouldn't turn down if the opportunity was there, but this one's not far from us and should kind of provide some interesting kind of storylines heading in.
And it's tough to beat one of these closer to home and smaller school matchups where you see two teams that they're not going to be necessarily as heralded as a Cass Tech or Orchard Lake St. Mary's, but they're two teams that they're going to play quality football,
Yeah,
and they're both going to be playing for a win today. That
yeah,
it's going to mean something to them.
yeah, absolutely. And both of these teams looking to get back in the playoffs, so
Mhm.
lot will be on the line for them.
Yeah. Well, as you alluded, let's get into the ranked games. Number one here is Orchard Lake St. Mary, ranked number 3 for us this week, at number 8, De La Salle. Pretty unique game here. They're going to be playing at a baseball field, Jimmy John's Field in Utica.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of an interesting one. It'll be interesting to see who kind of handles that better. I mean, just we see it. I mean, a lot of times in basketball, you see teams going to the Carrier Dome and stuff like that. Their perception's all off. It's something they're not used to seeing and kind of throws them off. Final fours, things like that, playing in like Lucas Oil Stadium. So it'll be interesting to see who kind of dials in a little bit faster. Maybe they start off running the ball a little bit before they get ballsy in the air. So, but yeah, Orchard Lake St. Mary's been kind of just sleepwalking through two straight, 30+ point wins for them. So it'll be interesting. This will be their first really big tests. And De La Salle coming off that loss to Davison, looking to rebound. This is a great team to kind of get your bearings back under you. If you can win this game, you can probably win any on your schedule.
Yeah, both teams have to be feeling that coming in here. I'm expecting a pretty tight game. Like you said, Orchard Lake St. Mary, they've been just, uh, prancing their way through their schedule, frankly. Two 30-point wins. They're not tested yet, but they're also going to be coming in here with, pretty free and clear heads, whereas De La Salle is going to be coming in with an axe to grind after that loss to Davison.
Yes.
Tough loss, very good Davison team, but teams like to lose, and a team of De La Salle's caliber is going to be looking to rebound and get themselves back up to where their confidence feels they should be.
Yeah. Yeah. No, should be a fun one. I mean, you're gonna have a plethora of D1 and D2 kids and, sprinkle in some D3 kids, for the next level. Like this is I mean, these these games are college football games almost sometimes
Hmm.
with just how many prospects are out there. So, looking forward to it. Looking forward to see how this one kind of goes.
Yeah, De La Salle, a team that no stranger to playing on a lot of college campuses.
Yeah, yeah, very true.
All right, next we have number 11 Adams at number 29 West Bloomfield.
Yeah, yeah, kicking off the OAA play. Um, Adams should be feeling pretty good. They've got two blowout wins against Rochester and Romeo. West Bloomfield back to back 37 to nothing shutouts against Fordson and Southfield A&T. So both teams should be feeling pretty good about it. I'm excited to see this one because West Bloomfield, wasn't exactly sure what to expect of them this year, and then Adams kind of the same way. Lost a little bit, but retained a lot of key positions, especially at quarterback with Rylan Waters. So, yeah, this one will be interesting.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Waters. Really good quarterback there. You and I've had the chance to watch him do some workouts before. Um, really good system there for him. Really plays well for a team that, we're always excited to see some great quarterback play out of.
Yeah, yeah, no, he fits that, and he brings another element to that offense because running the veer and stuff
Hmm.
like that as they do. There's a lot of ground game, but for him to be able to sling it like he does just adds a whole new dimension to that offense.
Yeah, when you see good quarterback play in an offense like that, it can really change their game.
Yeah, no, this one should be interesting. The OAA kind of completed the circle last year. They all beat up on each other, so we'll see if someone kind of can stick out head and shoulders above the rest, or if we're going to get another, you know, two loss, one loss, and three loss kind of top three. So
Yeah. All right. Next, we have number 15 Clarkston at number 24 Oxford.
yeah, yeah, this one's a big one, especially for Clarkston.
Mm.
They go out and dominate in week one against a Belleville team that nobody thought they were gonna come out and wax like they did. And then they drop one to Harper Woods, which we talked about in the last episode. Not a terrible loss, still everything in front of you. Lost to a really talented team. Um, and then Oxford, they're 2-0 as well. They beat Heartland, they beat Groves. Like there's some potential there. Jack Hendricks at quarterback versus Alex Washenko, actually, both guys that have trained under Joe Boysters. So lots of talent there, and I expect this one to be probably a tight contest if I had to guess.
Yeah, I've been pretty impressed with Oxford thus far. And like you said, Clarkston's got to show us what their real identity is here because
Yeah,
we've seen them come out and dominate a very talented Belleville team. And then we see them lose, a very solid team, but a D4 team
yeah,
and team that Clarkston wants to be shouldn't be losing those games.
yeah. No, I agree 100%.
Next, we have number 29 Northville at number 20 Howell.
Yeah, no, this one's fun. KLAA, kind of week two, I think, for them. Howell had a really good season last year, obviously kind of headlined by being able to knock off Belleville in the playoffs, but
Hmm.
they're looking to build on that. They're not satisfied with just that. So they've beat Traverse City West and Salem so far, so nothing, you know, too crazy to hang their hat on quite yet, but yeah, this is going to be interesting to see if they can get by Northville. They've put up, some good fights as well and have been able to get themselves to 2-0.
Yeah, both teams that very solid. Like you said, Howell, an excellent 2024. We were expecting them to be decent last year, but they really exceeded all of our expectations. And
Yeah.
Northville, a team that they're easy to like, fun team to watch. Really going to be a good matchup here as we head into, as you said, the KLAA.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's going to be fun.
All right, up next we have a pretty interesting matchup with number 34 Carlson at number 38 Notre Dame Prep. It's
Yeah.
it's
Interesting,
a
isn't it?
yeah, D5 versus a D2, which Carlson the D2. They're coming in with two blowout wins, haven't really been tested yet. And Notre Dame Prep on the other side, a D5 team playing up to this level. And they're coming in after a very tough loss to Lumen Christi, which we had the pleasure of being at last week.
Yeah. Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. This is not gonna be, a pushover for Carlson, but Notre Dame Prep kinda got their, kinda gut check last week against Lumen Christi. Like, you see where you stack up now. You've got work to do. And one thing that I will mention is I think the X factor in this game is gonna be for Notre Dame Prep, Sam Stowe and Drake Roa. Like, they got together a little bit, last game. I think he had like 7 or 8 catches, almost 100 yards. So, if they can get that connection going and kind of be a little bit more dynamic, that could give them a fighting chance, really.
Yeah, when you have a quarterback like Sam Stowe, who we saw make a couple of D1 level throws last week,
Yes.
there was one pass in particular in the first half where the way he just put the touch on it, dropped it right into the receiver's hands on a pretty deep ball. You love to see that, especially out of, like we said, a D5 school. Um, it'll be a fun matchup, and when you have a quarterback of that caliber, you can play with just about anyone.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. We've seen it a lot. Notre Dame Prep and Jackson Lumen Christi both over the last couple of years have been kind of punching above their weight class a little bit and have come out good on the other side. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll see if this is another one like that or if they get kind of another reality check 2 weeks in a row.
And up next, we have Notre Dame Prep's opponent from last week. That would be number 23, Lumen Christi, playing host to Grand Rapids Catholic Central.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. Lumen Christi is gonna kind of be looking to build on what they did last week. GRCC, we talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the season, kind of looking to bounce back after 2024. So great opportunity here. I mean, this is a quality opponent that was at Ford Field and hoisted a wooden mitten last year. So no reason not to go into this game on your A game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, team looking to bounce back, and other side, Lumen Christi, just a team looking to continue. They had that tough loss, but to frankly a very great team in week one, that out of state team.
Yep.
But coming in off the win against Notre Dame Prep, where I mean they just looked excellent on every side of the ball. Offense, defense, special teams, they really looked like they had themselves figured out. And if they can continue that from week 2 to week 9, this team is going to be just a buzzsaw.
Yeah. No, for sure. And you can't ask for a better matchup on the sidelines. I mean, Coach Colster and Brogan have, made their living at Ford Field. I mean, these are two teams that expect to win state championships year after year. And what better, kind of matchup could you want on the sidelines than those two?
For sure. Next, we have number 4, Davison at Traverse City Central. Davison coming in trying to avoid their big game hangover. And on the other side, we've got Traverse City Central looking to be a spoiler against who looks like probably their toughest team on the schedule.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, Davison now has kind of cemented themselves as a top 5 team in the state, regardless of division. They have just done everything right so far. They've got all the right pieces. I mean, we've talked about it at length so far this season. Just they have everything that you want. Just got to keep putting it together for 4 quarters. No reason they can't keep it rolling again this week.
Mm-hmm. All right, next we have Caledonia at number 7, Hudsonville. Really good matchup here between a couple of okay red squads. Hudsonville, our known commodity, coming in state runner-up. They've got the win over Byron Center, 27-21, and the win over East Lansing, 37-6. Caledonia, who had kind of an up and down 2024, they ended the season with 4 straight losses, missed the playoff, which for a team like Caledonia, not something you're expecting or used to seeing.
Yeah.
But this season, they're coming in 2-0. They have a solid win against Reith's Puffer, 56-21, and they're going to be looking forward to a really big prove it game.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, Hudsonville, you know, kind of was the cream of the crop last year, and you get a shot at the champ this early in the season. Just they better go for it. So, no, I think Cal's much improved. I mean, I really do. I think they've got some good pieces. I mean, I like their quarterback, Backus. I like what they have there. But yeah, playing against Hudsonville, you're gonna have to bring your A game again. It's you know, we're through the first couple weeks. You've given up all of your mulligans. This is the time, especially now that you're in conference play. You don't get second chances at these guys. So gonna have to win when it counts.
Absolutely. Next, we have Heritage at number 9, Grand Blanc. This is a game that we've alluded to in previous episodes because Heritage, they're coming off of an 0-2 start, a couple of tough losses, and a team that we had pretty high expectations for, just not looking like they have it together out on the field. And they're coming up against a top 10 team in the state, as you said, regardless of division.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean top 10 overall team, but maybe a top 5, top 3 offense. I mean, they are just lighting up the scoreboard right now.
Yeah.
Grand Bank, they beat Mona Shores 35-20 in week 1, and then they just went out and, coasted to a 56-6 win. So, I mean, Jake Morrow, we've talked about him as well, just great at quarterback for them. Um, Heritage is going to have their hands full. They have given up a lot of points between the first 2 weeks. So this is going to not be fun for them if they, don't have their defense clicking like they should be.
Yeah, Heritage really needs to find a way to pull things together here because, like you said, Jake Morrow, elite QB, one of the top QBs in the state, and that offense not missing a beat from last season, coming in here, hanging up points with ease. And if Heritage can't pull it together on defense, I wouldn't be surprised to see them put up another 50-point game.
Yeah, this one can get out of hand quite quickly. So it's going to be huge for Grand Blanc. I mean, they could start their SVL play with a bang. I mean, you go out and just blow out the team, that kind of was trying to play spoiler between you and Davison. Heritage seems to be, still maybe a couple steps behind them. So yeah, this could be kind of a statement game. Like, yeah, we're gonna take this conference by storm. So just setting up for an amazing game against Grand Blanc and Davison.
Yeah, absolutely. That is going to be a pretty high scoring game, if I had to guess.
I would guess so. Yeah.
All right, next we have East Kentwood, who is tied for 11th in our poll, at Jenison. Jenison, generally not a power in their conference, but starting off 2-0, looking pretty solid with wins over Kalamazoo Central, 28-7, and Forest Hills Northern, 23-7. Not exactly, juggernauts on that side of the state, but still two solid teams. And, two multi-score wins are pretty great start for the season.
Yep.
And this Jenison team should be playing with confidence at the very least,
Yeah.
kicking off against East Kentwood.
Yeah. No, I mean, did what they're supposed to. If they are really going to be the better team, just go out there and handle those teams like they did. This one's going to be a hell of a lot tougher. I mean, for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
East Kentwood probably playing as confident as anyone right now. The Spencer era just off to the start that they envisioned. We talked about a little bit last episode, but they basically have kind of said this is the plan. We weren't going to see it in wins and losses, but we were going to be really damn competitive. And then year 2, we're going to start winning some games. And here they are now 2-0 with a chance to kind of kick off their conference play the way that they're supposed to.
Yeah, definitely expecting East Kentwood to win here, but we never really know what can happen with a team like Jenison, where they've got a lot of good pieces there. As long as those pieces fall into place, do what they're supposed to do, they should be able to hang with anyone. I mean, we saw it last year when they upset Rockford, which was not something anybody had penciled in.
No, no, that was the game that everyone kind of took notice of, but they were in a lot of other games that we don't generally see them in as well. So, yeah, I think they're taking some steps in the right direction. Just that conference, that OK Red just gets more and more difficult every year. I mean, it really does. So, yeah, no, this could be a big one for either of them. Either one of them starts off 1-0, you know, everything's in front of them.
Yeah. Up next, we have Groves at number 14, Harper Woods. Groves coming in off of a 24-21 loss to Oxford. And on the complete opposite end of the spectrum is Harper Woods coming in after just beating up on Clarkston, like we've said, with a big divisional difference between the two of them.
Yeah.
This is one that it's going to be all about one team trying to bounce back and another team trying to prove that their identity is what you saw on the field last week.
Yeah. No, for sure. Harper Woods has to be as confident as anyone right now, and I think that goes a long way, especially in high school football. I think just a belief and a little bit of confidence, I think, is gonna go a long way, and not to mention the skill. I mean, I think Harper Woods is gonna present a ton of challenges, especially for the Groves defense. I mean, that offense has legit weapons, D1 weapons, guys that are the guys with 50 plus offers. I mean, not much you can do there. You're just gonna have to, hang on for dear life. So they're gonna present some challenges. They're gonna do things, that you haven't maybe seen before, or things that you just can't do anything about. So will their skill talent, prevail, or can they match Harper Woods in the trenches? I think that might be where the difference ends up.
Yeah, definitely don't want to count Groves out here. They're the unranked team in this matchup. Harper Woods at 14th. Definitely going to be looking like the team we'd expect to win here, but with sometimes the size of the school difference as well as Groves, I mean, they're no slouch.
Yeah.
Team that we're used to seeing pretty great teams out of. This should be, at the very least, a very fun game.
Yeah, for sure. I would expect it to still be close, but yeah, I think with the way that Harper Woods is playing right now, I would not be shocked if they come out there and do it again this year or this week.
Yeah, would not be very surprising. All right, we now have number 18 Rockford at Grand Haven.
Yeah, Rockford kind of got right, almost so to speak, last week against Muskegon. They lost to Saline in week 1. We got to see that. By no means were they could just completely outmatched. I think that was a very competitive game. They made a couple key plays that, kind of was the difference. But no, not a bad team at all. Grand Haven kind of continuing to build. They got that big win over Lakeshore in week 1, and then lost to TC West last week, 32-14. So still not sure, you know, about these teams. Maybe either one of them. But I would expect Rockford to win. I mean, history says it. Grand Haven last beat Rockford in 2010, and they only have 4 wins to 37 losses against the Rams. So a lot fighting against them, but play the game.
Yep, play it on the field. Like you said, don't want to start looking for moral victories here before the game kicks off, but with a team as good as Rockford, like you said, you're going to feel good, or at least not going to feel too terrible if you're able to compete with them for 4 quarters. Just
Yeah,
go out there, leave it all on the field, and they should be all right, even if they don't get that win.
yeah, agreed.
Next, we got Whitehall at number 22, Zeeland West. Should be an interesting game with Zeeland West coming off of that very emotional win over West Ottawa.
Yeah, yeah, tons of controversy, and this is when a coach rallies the troops a little bit here, and you've got to block it out and forget about last week and go 1-0 this week. But it's gonna be a lot easier said than done for a bunch of 16, 17, 18-year olds
Mhm.
to go out there and shake it off. I mean, man, they were getting kind of dragged. I mean, adults just throwing insults and this and that, and cheaters and whatever else, just terrible stuff that doesn't need to be said. But, you know, Gotta shake that off, and, you've got a Whitehall team coming in that's looking that's their first road game of the season. They're gonna be kinda pepped up, so can they build on their win over Orchard View last week? They kinda got crushed in week 1 against Unity Christian, so I think this'll be, another really good test to see where Whitehall's really at.
Yeah, good test for Whitehall. Like you said, Zealand West. This is really just a good test for them as far as coaching and locker room goes, because
Yeah,
trying to rein your emotions in after a big game like that, and like you said, with dealing with off the field issues, which are frankly no fault of their own,
yeah.
just having to put up with that for a week and come in here and focus back up on the field is going to show us a lot for what we could expect out of this team this year.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And this is only the second meeting between the 2 teams, which I didn't really realize, being as close as they kind of are. Um, Last year was their first meeting. Zealand West was able to win 60-43, so maybe we can, expect some points again.
Always fun to see those big, high scoring games over 100 points. A lot of fun for the fans, at least.
Yeah, makes for a long, long game, though.
That it does. Utica at number 31, Grosse Pointe South. Utica coming in with a win over Grosse Pointe North, 47-14.
Yeah, yeah, another test for Grosse Pointe South here, who was able to get by Romeo. We're still not really sure what Romeo is right now. They've had some weird results so far, so got by them 21-18 last week, but you know, that game and the game against Detroit Renaissance that they crushed, that doesn't really tell us a lot.
No.
I'm not sure if Utica it'll tell us a ton, but they should go out there and do what they're supposed to do. This is a ranked team that is kind of hungry, so let's see if they can prove it.
Yeah. Didn't love that game from Grosse Pointe South last week. No disrespect to Romeo, but Grosse Pointe South, you'd hope that they would go out there and establish themselves a little bit better from the start. But win is a win. They
Yep.
don't all have to be pretty. And this right here is going to be a good test for both. Utica team that very talented. If they can put it together for 4 quarters, no reason they can't hang.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. This is gonna be an interesting game, I think.
For sure. All right. Next, we've got Stevenson at a Belleville team that is getting a lot of the media attention.
Yeah, yeah, tons of attention and not something that they're exactly, afraid of. I mean, they've been kind of under the spotlight even before Bryce was, you know, doing what he does. They were still under the spotlight quite a bit with, Do Reed and those guys. So not afraid of that at all. But yeah, this is for the wrong reasons now. It's almost we just don't know what to make of them, don't know what to expect out of them. They could go out there and blow them out, or they could just be middling and squeak by. So yeah, I if Belleville, goes out there and just blows them out, I'll feel much better. But if they have another, 28-18 kind of game like they did against Fordson, I'm not sure that I'll love that.
Yep. It's very just a game that we need some data on because, like
Yeah.
you said, these are two teams that it's really hard to get a beat on them right now. If we can at least see something, consistent with their prior weeks, start to figure out what some of these teams actually are.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. We need Goose Poop to come and save us because we don't know what the hell we're talking about yet.
All right, up next we have Garfield Heights at number 35, Muskegon. Garfield Heights, a pretty interesting team, but the storyline here is Muskegon. They're 0-2 and desperate for a win.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they're staring down another 0-3 start. That's not something we expect from them, not something we want to see. Um, Garfield Heights is not a fun team to have to get right against. So yeah, that's gonna be a huge one. And them coming to Hackley, I think that helps. I think if they were on the road, I wouldn't even feel really very good about this. But um, yeah, I think them getting the home field advantage, maybe that helps them a little bit.
Yep, and Like you said, coming to Hackley, it's one of those few stadiums in Michigan that really does feel like a home field advantage.
Yeah, no, I mean, it I got to experience it finally last year for the first time, and it was cool, man. That was really cool. So, yeah, no, that's definitely one of those few places that you get a legitimate, like, sense of, like, "Oh, man, this is a hard place to play."
Yeah. All right. Jump into the next game. We've got number 43 Northview at Sparta. Sparta starting out 2-0, looking like they might be able to make some noise this season.
Yeah, no, that's a good start for them. Um, Still not really sure what to make of them yet, but we think that, Northview's pretty good. So, I mean, if you can hang with them, you should feel really good, but, man, I just like what Northview's doing. They've got the quarterback, they've got the guys. I don't see why they can't, keep it rolling. I don't, you know, love the Sparta team. I mean, of course, they beat up on Wyoming. Nothing really to learn there. Squeak by at Wayland, another one not really much to lean on there. So I like Northview in this one, maybe even pretty big, but I'm curious to see where it lands.
Yeah. Uh, this Northview team, not a team you can find a lot of faults with. Sparta, on the other hand, like you said, squeaking by Wheeland, not great, but they're starting out 2-0.
Yep.
They've got a big name right in front of them, and definitely a game where they might be able to establish themselves or set this season apart.
Yeah, no, for sure. I will definitely be following this one pretty closely. It's going to be interesting.
All right, up next we've got Roseville at Lakeview.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I mean, Roseville, they start off with that loss against Davison, not really going to fault them. They kind of get
Mhm.
right last week against Anchor Bay 30-7. So, good results. And I mean, I think last week, so Lakeview beat Chippewa Valley, and I got a DM saying, "Man, I can't believe you guys didn't talk about them getting their first win over a MAC Red opponent." And I had to go check to make sure that was accurate. And yeah, no, they've never beat a MAC Red opponent until today or last week. So
Wow,
good on them. Very,
yeah,
very good on them. So
congrats to Lakeview. That's like you said, good for them.
yeah, no, not a easy feat by any means. So
No.
yeah, good on them.
All right. And our last game that we have to preview for the week is going to be Williamston at number 44 Mason. Mason coming off of that really tough game last week where, they couldn't quite eke out the win, but they at least showed that they still belong on the same field with any of these top teams.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I mean, I kind of starting to become a believer in Williamston. I mean, we talked a little bit about, Lansing Catholic and, we are still panicking with them, but, Williamston went out there and beat them 46-14. And then Hastings, who's been solid, they go out there and win 36-29. So they got to be feeling pretty good heading over to Mason tomorrow night. So I like what they've got going on, and I think this one's gonna be pretty tight.
Yeah, Williamston, like you said, 2-0. They've got a chance with a win here to jump up into our top 50,
Yeah,
which should be very possible. I like this Mason team, but they showed last week that there's some question marks on defense. Their offense can clearly hang with anybody, but yeah, if Williamston is able to jump out to a lead and just hang on to it, Mason could be in some
yeah,
trouble.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think both of these teams are really well coached. So I think it's just gonna come down to execution. And I like where this game's at. I like that. I think that's gonna be a really fun one.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that does it for our previews for this week. Kind of a shorter episode. Not a lot of big games, only a few ranked matchups, but it's a great opportunity for us. Like you said, we're going to St. John's at Fowlerville, a couple of smaller teams that not ranked yet, but going to be a great game. and great opportunity for us to go check out these local teams.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, I think this is going to be a really good kind of separator kind of week. I think we're going to figure out a lot about some teams. I mean, we've got some maybe more lopsided games, and I think we've got a couple that could go either way. I think you're going to kind of see who's kind of the contenders and pretenders now.
Yeah, definitely a week to keep an eye out for some upsets when you've got all of these ranked versus unranked matchups. There are a lot of opportunities for some big shakeups.
Yeah, no, you see weird stuff, man. It just happens. So, yeah, I mean, in high school football, it could be any given Friday. I mean, you see weird scores every week, but I think with this many, kind of heavy favorites, I think we're bound to see a couple weird ones.
For sure. Well, that'll do it for us today, folks. Thank you, as always, for joining us here on the Michigan Prep Frenzy podcast. As always, I'm Braden at MI Game Day.
Yeah, and I'm Tyler at MICH Frenzy, and you can find our stuff over at migameday.com. And then I've got some articles up that'll be summarizing the games over on Prep Red Zone.
All right. Well, thanks for listening.